we like to make wine and sell wine here, ideally, and here meaning Southern Oregon. Most of your friends, most of your family, they pay $10 or $20 for a bottle of wine. That's what we'd like to do. We think it's sort of an honor to be able to make wine that people can, generally afford to drink regularly.
Yeah, I love selling wine for people that are going to drink it every day. Right. Cases of wine that they're going to drink every day. It's nice to sell wine for $30 a bottle, but it only's going to happen. They're only going to drink it on special occasions. But we want to be there every day, and we feel if we put out a good enough product, then we'll have that. We'll be able to make it in the volume, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm having you try a wine, you do not need to know anything about this wine except, do you find it yummy? If you don't find this wine yummy, there's no reason to tell you about the vineyard or the make process. None of that matters. It just doesn't matter. Find you something you really love.
Everybody's taste buds are a little different. If you like it, it's good. And so I like to take a little of the pretension out of wine. It's always good to get a great score, and we've had our share. But the most important thing is that customers like it and enjoy it.
I hate wine snobs. They just drive me nuts, because a lot of the time they're so insecure that what they do is belittle the beginning wine drinkers and make them feel insecure and everything. And we've got this thing that I don't know how many times, every time I turn around to somebody who's not in the wine industry and say, would you like some wine? How do you like this wine? Oh, I'm not a wine expert. I don't care if you're a wine expert. Do you like the wine or don't you like the wine? And I would just like people to be able to stop saying that people who like white Zinfandel are bad people. They like white Zinfandel because it tastes good to them. And is it a well-made white Zinfandel? Great.
It's important for people to understand how relevant the Oregon wine industry is to the state, and that as consumers, people should be made aware of buy locally, because it's such a large wine world.
Changing markets, international issues, of course, are a big component of things. The fact that you can go get a relatively inexpensive bottle of wine, from another country on our store shelves is a challenge, because we're a high-end producing state, and we're going to play at a different price point. So we have to be able to match up the story to that price point and the quality to that price point, so that the consumer is clearly aware that when they buy something from Oregon, it means quality.
Consumer education. I think our main reason for outreach always is to educate the consuming public, because once they understand why and what and get excited themselves, then they're in our family. And even if they don't buy our wine, they'll buy somebody else's, and they'll continue to learn. It's that learning aspect that's important.
And I think it's our job to tell people and show people how we can make great wine from the most desperate kind of vintages in Oregon, and it's part of what we do and what we love to do, and sharing it with consumers is really fun for me.
I want to be able to speak to people and encourage them to enjoy wine for themselves, not to think about how wine is supposed to taste, but to taste it for themselves and not worry about there being right answers or wrong answers. And I want them to understand that there's no such thing as the best wine. And the 100-point scale, which puts everything on a single universal scale, is extremely misleading, because wine it has to be understood in context. You can't have a a single best wine, but you can have a good wine for the occasion, the best wine for the occasion. And sometimes that calls for a wine that's not going to be rated as highly by critics. And so we have to put that thinking aside and start thinking about wine in a different way. What is the occasion? Who am I with? What is the food? What's a good wine for this moment?